Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
You are now listening to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe. Thank you for joining us as we talk about the movies of yesteryear. You can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter by searching for Backlook Cinema. Check our show notes for more info, and now, let's get it in.
Hi, this is Zach.
And this is Zoe, and welcome to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe, where we took a look back at the movies of yesteryear. And what movie did we look at this time, Zach?
Batman.
And we're talking about the 1989 Tim Burton classic, Batman, the franchise that started it all. And it's the 23rd episode of the Backlook Cinema Podcast. And the reason we started this here show was to strengthen our bond between I, Zoe, and my son, Zach. We watch movies that I loved when I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, and the early 90s, and we get Zach's impression of these great movies.
Also, you can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, and a bunch of other items at our website, backlookcinema.com.
Speaking of which, we got some new merch designed by Zach himself. It's going to be up on that website real soon. As a matter of fact, by the time you hear it, it'll all be set up on the website, where we got some new designs designed by Zach, inspired by Zach's mother. So look out for the new shirts, the new hoodies, the new long sleeve, the new short sleeve, the new V-necks, the new fatty packs.
Why?
The new
Stop.
Flamethrowers.
No.
Okay, for real, we don't have any flamethrowers, but you get the idea. We got lots of merch. And please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and the other social media. And you can find details in the show notes also at backlookcinema.com. You can leave us direct feedback, comment suggestions, etc. And you can email us at fanmail@backlookcinema.com.
And please, if you like our show, then rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app that you might be using.
And so you know what I've been up to. Designing shirts and whatnot. Well, putting your shirts on the website. So when you get a chance, go to our website and then click on the link, and then it'll take you to like Teespring or whatever. And then you'll find your designs up there on display, waiting for purchase. We got to get some for your mom, because that's why she wanted these designs a month ago. And they're finally up there. So, well, what else have I been doing? So I finished that book I told you. So I downloaded another book. As of right now, I can't remember what it was. But
of course you can.
I'm going to read it and let you know what I think about it.
You mean you're going to listen to it?
I'm going to listen to it. That is correct. Because I don't read much. Actually, I'm going to finish reading. I started reading Truth, Red, White, and Black, because that is about the first Black Captain America. People mistakenly say that he's the first Captain America, but as a matter of fact, he's the second one. They lost the super soldier serum after they created Steve Rogers, Captain America, and they wanted to recreate the serum. So in order to recreate it, they decided to experiment on a bunch of Black soldiers. So that is what Truth is about. The story is intriguing. But people say, oh, the art is fantastic. Personally, I did not like the art. And that's why I had stopped reading it. I was like, man, this looks like a child drew it. I know that it's an artistic aesthetic, and I guess some people loved it. And but it really, really kind of turned me off. But I'm a power through it. And it's hard to find right now. You can't find it at Marvel, at Marvel, what is it called? Marvel Unlimited, where they have all the comic books, or at least most of them. That's not available there. And I haven't checked the other sites like Comixology. I haven't checked the Amazon. They got a digital bookstore. I haven't checked because they got Kindle. And I haven't checked Google has its own digital bookstore. I haven't checked there either. But if it's not at Marvel Unlimited, it's probably not anywhere. So that's weird.
Erased from history. That's what it's called.
No, you can find it on eBay for like $300, $400.
Yeah, that's a physical copy.
Right. And
That's why I said erased from history.
Right, but I have the physical copy. No, it's not erased. It's still around. It just
No,
ain't no
no.
new prints.
No.
If it was erased from history, then nobody would have it.
No, what I'm saying, they haven't put it on digital. That's why I said erased from history.
Yeah, it would seem that way, but still, I got my copy. Maybe I'll sell it. Now that I know it's worth some people are selling it on eBay for like $300. I was like, oh, okay, because it's a hot commodity now. Because now Isaiah, what's his name? Isaiah something. I can't remember his last name. But Isaiah is now, he's in the flesh in the Marvel universe due to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
So they introduced him. So now anything that he's appeared in is hot commodity. Ooh, shoot, I got spit on me. Anyways, so I think I'll finish reading that. But other than that, just been drawing pictures and designing T-shirts. So what you been up to?
Nothing. Just been playing Outriders.
Outriders. We're suing the courts because we don't.
Stop.
We
No.
didn't only get a 2 of the source.
No. Stop. No.
Every time I hear that name, that's what I think of. That's the only way that I remember the name of that game.
That is horrible.
because of that song. Actually,
horrible.
Eminem says Outsiders, and we're suing the courts. But of course, this game is called Outriders. So you got past the demo. I finally finished the demo. You got past the demo, so you decided to purchase the game.
No, I never got it. I just was like, oh yeah, I like it. I'm gonna get it. But right now, because as usual, it's an online game and it has issues. Mainly service connection.
Oh, I thought you bought the game. I thought you said
I have the game.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
you're just not playing it right now.
No, because servers are having issues.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna wait until they kind of clear that up and
just a little bit.
Right. You're gonna wait for some patches and whatnot.
I mean, might as well, because it's irritating when you're trying to get in the game and you're stuck on a sign in screen, and I'm like, oh
man,
okay,
that
close the application, turn it right back on. Oh, look, I'm now in.
Right. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that turns me right off.
2 days ago, I was playing with my friend, doing a game, and the game crashed on me, and I was like, oh, okay, then got back in. Next, crashed again. I was like, oh yeah, this is fun.
Right.
I'm getting cyberpunk vibes.
right.
This is real good for me.
Well, at least it's connection issues, and it's not like in-game issues where the game is broken inside. It's just really right now is the server issues. Because when it's broken inside, that's when it gets you. And I hate the vibe of having to log in online to play a game anyway. So that's another kind of turn off. So I don't even really know if I might get into this game, but only because of that. Because it's like, man, what's up with having to just play online? I'm a solitary dude. I finally got past those bosses that I couldn't beat. And then there's a glitch I discovered, at least in the demo, where that first side mission where you talk to Mr. Chang and then you go and deal with those dudes that were messing with him. Mm-hmm. Remember that part?
No, because I don't do side quests like that all the time.
There is a side quest. You should check it out. There's a side quest. You go, because you'll see it on your map. There's an exclamation point, and it looks like a door with bars on it. So you go inside. Mr. Chang is like, oh, these guys are bothering me. And one of the guys comes in to shoot Mr. Chang. And then your character gets irritated with that guy, kills that guy, then goes out and to the gang that had sent that guy to kill Mr. Chang. Goes in there, and then basically you do your part and just wasting everybody in that area and then rescuing Mr. Chang's daughter. So what happened, the glitch is you take her back to Mr. Chang's shop. Everything's all well and good. But then the explanation point pops up on the door again. You go in, and the whole scene plays all over again. And so you can play the mission again. So it's like, that's a mad glitch. And I think it's the only side mission that has that glitch, because I think there's like 2 more side missions you can play, and they don't seem to have that glitch. But that first one with Mr. Chang, that has one. And if I can continue to play, I might, because I played as a pyromancer. What'd you play as?
I'm a pyromancer.
Oh, you too, huh? Pyromancers stick together, yo. See, didn't I tell you people that this is my clone? We both chose the same character. Independent of each other. We didn't. This is the first time we actually talked about this game, and we had no discussion before thought, and now we have both chosen the pyromancer. See, he is my clone. It's like on Invincible. The two clones argue which one is the original.
No, don't ever use that logic. Never. That is a horrible logic.
So, also you've seen we've seen Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh yeah, I liked it.
Oh, yeah, I liked it too. It probably would have been better in theaters. I watched it with your mom. So, any particular part of that movie that strikes you?
The first fight with King Kong and Godzilla, the second fight, the third fight, and final fight.
So,
everything else is basically filler.
They're transporting King Kong on a huge boat. Now, and King Kong is about the same size as Godzilla. And it always bothered me, even when I seen it in the previews, is like, King Kong is like absolutely humongous in the first movie. He's just absolutely towering over skyscrapers. And here's King Kong being transported on his boat. How big is this boat?
Apparently big enough that they had to build it.
It has to be ridiculously big for Godzilla to be able to stand on it. Now, one caveat is that, do you remember that container ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal?
Yeah.
So that container ship is extraordinarily huge. I looked at a video about how it probably got stuck. So that container ship is as long as the Empire State Building is tall. So that's humongous. And I don't know if that's the biggest kind and I don't know exactly how wide it is, but apparently it's very wide. So maybe a ship like that, as long as the Empire State Building is tall, that could probably hold somebody like King Kong. But yeah, that was a great fight. So my thing is, they're transporting him on his boat. He is eating, fish while he's on his boat. How is he taking a crap? That's what I really want to know. Where is all this King Kong waste going? I mean, giant size donkey dude. Where's it going? I don't understand that.
Why are you trying to
Please
ask that question?
Explain this to me, Zachary.
Why do you need that?
I need to know, because these are adult questions that require scientific answers.
No. They don't.
Imagine, well, see, he could just pee off the side of the boat. I get that. And I guess being a monkey, as that lady kept calling him, and he got her for that, he could hang off the side of the boat, take a donkey dump, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but why do you need to know this?
That is questions that adult needs to know.
No, it's not. These are questions that no one should be questioning.
And then, I seen a video where this dude was talking about, he was basically doing a review, and he was talking about how, King Kong was way more relatable. It's kind of King Kong's movie because we relate to him. And Godzilla is just mean. Like, King Kong is happy, he's sad, he's angry. He goes through all the gamuts of emotion. Godzilla is just angry and pissed and not having none of this nonsense. So he realizes that Kong is off his island. He goes straight for Kong. What is you doing off your island? Didn't I tell you that I run this joint? I'm going to kill you and your crew, all right? All your crew. I don't care. Your planes, your boats. I don't care. I'm coming for you. You need to know that why didn't you come when I called you? I called you. You're supposed to come, take the knee like all the other monsters, and you out here calling yourself king. I'm not having that. I'm the king. I'm the king of monsters. I'm my atomic breath makes sure all your kids don't grow. So yeah, he was angry. And then that last fight, it's like normally, I guess Kong recognizes that he is not a titan that threatens humans. That's why he didn't destroy King Kong, because he had King Kong dead to rights, had his foot on his chest. I think it was near the third fight. Had his foot in his chest like, ah! Like, don't you ever come around here again. What you think he said?
I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like, you bow down to me. I can blow your head off right now. Do you just know this? I'm letting you go. But no, you bow down to me. I'm the king. I'll run this.
I mean, King Kong was about to die, so, no point.
No, Godzilla usually kills his foes.
Yeah, because
remember in the first movie,
the little girl said that he was going to die. and they need him to start his arc.
I know he was going there, but King Kong Godzilla's not one to just let somebody die. He's not going to just allow you to expire. He's going to atomic breath you to make sure that you're gone. Because he's dealt with creatures that survived before, like especially King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah is different.
Yeah, but still, he's very hard to kill. You got a atomic breath King Ghidorah enough to make all of his heads, cut all of his heads off, because you can never be sure. And I think Godzilla feels the same way about all his enemies. I think he let Godzilla let King Kong live because he recognized Godzilla as a titan, that he's not there to threaten the humans on Earth, but at the same time, as far as Godzilla is concerned, King Kong need to bow down. That's and then they had the appearance of Mecha Godzilla. I'm glad that it wasn't how they did it in the original version, where he's dressed up as Godzilla and then he comes out as Mecha Godzilla. The funny thing is that that's what the rumors on the internet was, but it turned out not to be true. It was like Godzilla gone bad. No, he's Mecha Godzilla. No, Godzilla turned bad. That's he was angry and he didn't care about people. He just wanted all these people coming around trying to take his crown. The Mecha Godzilla trying to come alive, take his crown, and he probably sent King Ghidorah. King Kong trying to take his crown. He's just not having that. What's your take?
What, on why Godzilla attacked?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's pretty sure because they was trying to replace him, and he could tell.
Yeah,
that's why he sensed the first attack. He sensed that the eye was there, and he wasn't having it.
Right.
And then he was like, okay, there's King Kong. Might as well take care of him because I don't trust him at the moment.
Oh, excuse me, goodness, I got the hiccups. Yeah, that flies. Let's see. And then it seemed like at points that Godzilla's way OP because he atomic breath all the way to the Hollow Earth. So, oh, by the way, people, spoilers if you haven't seen it, you should have seen it already. he atomic breath all the way to the Hollow Earth. So that seems like way OP. But
it's Godzilla. He has
right.
That's the whole point.
Right. But I guess he can do it. I remember reading a while ago that people in real life they're trying to drill past the Earth's crust, but they can't quite do it because the drill that they're using, it'll overheat and it'll stop working, because the deeper you go into the Earth, the hotter it gets. And then it'll get so hot that machines stop functioning. Because
I don't know why they're trying to do this.
Just, scientists trying to figure stuff out. That's what scientists do. Scientists like to do stuff that seems...
Well, they can stop.
that seems weird. Just to see if they can do it a lot of times. That's why, that's why a lot of things happen, because scientists be trying to do stuff. So they can't quite... I forgot how deep they was able to get, but they can't quite get past the crust. And the crust is a very thin layer when you consider the entire Earth. There's also the matter of, what's the other thing? Oh, fun fact. If underground, like where gas tanks are buried underground and whatnot, deep enough underground, not deep enough, maybe only 10 to 15 feet, it's always 50 degrees. So find yourself out in the wintertime, go dig yourself a hole that's about 15 feet deep. It's always 50 degrees, nice and warm. So anyway, let's go on to our next segment. So as we said, we're doing Batman. Let's tell them about the Bat.
A crime is out of control in Gotham City. The Gotham City Police Department is full of corrupt cops. The citizens are afraid and at the mercy of criminals who act with impunity. Amongst it all is a mysterious figure watching from the shadows, an almost mythical figure that few have seen and villains dread, a figure that some refer as the Bat.
I wrote that. I didn't get that off the internet this time. I wrote that one because I love this movie. It's like it goes past some of the other movies. This is extra love that I have bestowed upon this movie. I could write this because I've seen so much of it. I could write this and from my own feelings about how the movie was impressed upon me. So this movie was released in June 23rd, 1989 by Warner Brothers. It grossed over $251 million in the US and Canada, over $40 million on opening weekend, $411 million worldwide on a $35 million budget. It had generally positive reviews. Needless to say, this, by definition, is a blockbuster. It's the reason why we have all of these superheroes movies now. It predates all the. See, this is like one of the first modern superhero movies as we watch them now. Because before, you had early examples of like Superman, which was great until it wasn't great. And then I think Blade came like years after that, but he really didn't give you that superhero vibe. He was more like it felt more like horror and sci-fi than it did a superhero joint. But when Batman came down, and it's like at the time that they wanted to do Batman, they were like, nobody watches these movies. This is like absolutely nobody watches them. Maybe we'll make a tiny bit of money. We just, it was more like a cheap thing to do, was to try to make a superhero movie. But Tim Burton really changed the game, from the costume to the ambiance to the scores. It's like everything that he did for this movie.
The origins.
Well, the origin is kind of the same, but
nah.
What do you mean?
First of all, really, the Joker was the one that killed his parents? Really?
Yeah.
Come on, no.
Every superhero movie changes up a little bit of something. Like if you look at Superman's origins, sometimes his father dies. Sometimes both of his parents die. Depending on who's writing the origin. Spider-Man, they pretty much kept the same. So yeah, he tinkered around with Batman's origins a little bit, but that's not what I mean. But it's basically his influence on the genre of superhero movie. Like after Batman came out and made all that money, studios was like, you know what? We should try to make some superhero movies. Let's make a Fantastic Four. Great idea. And it sucked. At least the very first Fantastic Four movie that was never released in movies. That's a whole nother story. But and they started releasing all kind of stuff, and most of it was crap. But you could see the influence of Tim Burton. Like one of the things that Tim Burton was like, we're not doing spandex like Superman or Batman 66, Batman 66, or any other earlier superhero movies that came out in black and white or on television. Like, we're going to do away with type. We have to do something different, something realistic, and that type of thing. So, yeah, it's just that his influence cannot be understated. So this movie was starring
Michael Keaton, who was playing Bruce Wayne / Batman. He was in Johnny Dangerously, Beetlejuice, RoboCop, Spider-Man: Homecoming, post-production, which is Morbius, pre-production, The Flash as Batman.
Right. There was one show. I think it was. I can't remember which movie it was. I think I have it in the trivia, but it was some movie that he was in. It was like, are you nervous about this other guy playing Batman? He was like, I don't care, I'm Batman. And then on some movie he was on, he just kept saying, I'm Batman, and that line is also part of the trivia. So to continue, also Michael Keaton was a very controversial pick for Batman. Now the reason that he was probably picked is because at first, he's a comedian first of all, and his early movies were all comedy based. They were either rom-coms or they're straight comedies, like a Johnny Dangerously, a very funny comedy. Beetlejuice, a great comedy. You seen Beetlejuice?
Yes, I've seen Beetlejuice.
Yeah, remember how funny that was?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And Michael Keaton played Beetlejuice. So I think it was after he played Beetlejuice, they was like, okay, he got announced for Batman. They was like, and the fans, including myself, was like, I have my doubts. This is before the internet, so you would see all of this in magazines and whatnot about the fans, like, disapproval or disappointment of Michael Keaton. But he did have some very dramatic roles, and I believe that's why he was chosen. And it turned out he was like, oh, this is one of the great Batmans ever. Especially the ones that they chose after, like in the same series. So after Batman, it was like Val Kilmer, and then after Val Kilmer there was
George
Clooney,
and people did not like that.
yeah,
one.
people didn't like them, but it wasn't their fault. I believe it was the director's fault, but it still fell on them. Like it still reflected bad on them, the actors. So that was a point there. Jack Nicholson, he played the Joker, Jack Napier, and he's just a phenomenal actor. He's been in The Two Jakes, The Witches of Eastwick, A Few Good Men, The Bucket List, and the list goes on and on. He's been in some of the greatest pieces of cinema of our time, and you know, a prolific actor, and just an overall he just I can't get over what a great actor he is. Kind of, he's a bit of a nutcase or an a-hole, but he's still a great actor. Continue.
Kim Basinger.
Basinger.
She played Vicky Vale. She was in L.A. Confidential, Cellular, 8 Mile, and The Gateway.
That's The Getaway.
Getaway.
So of those films, I haven't seen L.A. Confidential. You probably seen 8 Mile.
Yeah.
But Cellular, I don't know if you've seen that one.
Nope, I don't think so.
So that's not a candidate for the podcast because it's way after. I think it's in the 2000s. But it's her and Chris Captain America. What's his name? Chris
Evans?
Yes, Chris Evans. So it's her and Chris Evans. And that's a great movie. If you ever get a chance, you should check it out. This movie also has Robert Wall. He played Alexander Knox, and he's been in Arliss and Bill Durham. There's another comedian that became an actor.
Pat Hingle.
Yeah.
Okay, he was playing Commissioner James Gordon. He was in Hang 'em High, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh my God, that's who's that dude that played in Elf?
I don't know. I seen Elf, but I don't remember the actor's name. I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember.
Is that dude? Is one of his movies, and is it? So it's a racing movie, and it's him and that. Shoot, you haven't seen Step Brothers either, have you?
No.
I can't remember his name, but so it's those two nuts, and they're in this movie, and it's about NASCAR, and that's just really funny. I can't remember anybody's name from that movie, but that's a movie where they say, if you're not first, you're last. You know. Anyway, the awesome actor Billy D. Williams as D.A. Harvey Dent. He was in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Brian's Song, and Mahogany. He got his esteem from his earlier movies, and they made us watch Brian's Song in school. I thought it was a TV movie. No, this joint came out in theaters. So yeah, us black people, we love Billy D. Williams, who was coming up, who was like, our parents used to talk about him like he was the bee's knees. So, but he had acted. Well, I've seen less and less of him since after Batman, but still a great actor.
Let's see. We have Michael Gorge.
I think that's Gull.
He was playing as Alfred Pennyworth.
We also have Jack Palance, another venerable actor. He played Carl Grissom. He was in City Slickers, Shane, Cops and Robertsons, Young Guns, and Ripley's Believe It or Not. Now, Ripley's Believe It or Not was a long-running TV show based off, I guess it was a comic strip. I don't know how Ripley's Believe It or Not got started.
I'm pretty sure it's basically things that you would not believe people could do.
Yeah. It was things, objects, oddities. We went to the museum one time. One of the museums. They have a bunch of museums. We went to one of them. Remember when we went to what you call it? Knott's Berry Farm? No, not Knott's. Wait a minute. When we went to that amusement park, weren't you there? No, you wasn't there.
I don't think so.
Because you wasn't at the amusement park. You had to work. It was like a mini family reunion. We went to Virginia.
Yeah.
So it was me and your mom and your nephew. So we so one of the things we went to was the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. So they had oddities and whatnot. So I think it started off as a comic strip. And he would put comic strip in the newspapers like, believe it or not, this thingamajig is 1,000 years old and operated before the first modern man created it or whatever. So it was a bunch of oddities. So they had a TV show, and he starred, and I guess that was his wife. I don't know who the lady was, the guest star. But I was just impressed with just the way he spoke. He always spoke in a kind of mysterious voice, he's like just on the edge of trying to creep you out. So, and he can do he did a dozen one-arm push-ups at an award show one time. So just that's the kind of dude he is.
We also have Tracy Walter playing Bob the Goon. He was in Conan the Barbarian, Nash Bridges, and
Matilda.
Okay.
Man, you was about to mess up Conan. We was gonna have words.
Uh-huh.
Like, how do you not know Conan the Barbarian? So anyway, he's a great character actor. William Hoot. This is one of our favorite ones that I found out. William Hootkins. He played Detective Max Eckhart. You remember that guy, right?
No.
Eckhart. Remember Eckhart? They kept saying his name throughout the beginning of the movie. That was a real fat detective.
Oh, hell.
Right,
okay.
right. He was the detective that was actually working with the gangsters and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, peep this. He was in Star Wars Episode 4 as, do you know, guess who he was in
Jabba
Star
the Hutt?
No, but that's
Okay,
close. No, that was Episode 5 anyway. Episode 4 is A New Hope. He was Porkins, the pilot.
Oh.
Porkins. I mean, a fat guy named Porkins. A little too close to the nose, if I may say so myself. He was also in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Guess who he was in that movie?
The guy who was Indiana Jones' friends over there in
No. He's at the very end of the movie.
The very end of the movie?
We saw it as a parody.
I don't remember that.
Okay. At the end of the movie, Indiana Jones is like, so what did it do with that? And then one of the guys says, important men.
Oh, yeah, top men.
Yeah, top men. It's like, what do you mean? Very top men.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. So I was like, when you look at him in this movie, he's like, oh my God, that was him too? That's what I was thinking. He was also in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. The less said about that movie, the better. Continue.
This was directed by Tim Burton, who has also directed Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, Alice in Wonderland, Frankenweenie, Sleepy Hollow, and Mars Attacks.
So you seen any of those?
Alice in Wonderland, yes.
Okay.
Frankenweenie, I don't think so. And the others, no.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow's pretty good. You should check that out. And Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. If you like musicals, you should check that out. And I think Johnny Depp, he acted in half of these because he loved him some Johnny Depp. It's written by Sam Hamm and Warren Scarrin. Sam Hamm he just mostly did Batman movies. And Warren Scarrin, he wrote Beetlejuice, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Top Gun, among others. Music by Danny Elfman, who did the score. So that's all the flutes and the horns and whatnot. And then Prince, who did the soundtrack. Prince tore this joint up. I don't like all the Prince albums, but one of my like is Prince and the Revolution. What's that called? Purple Rain. That's when I was acclimated to Prince, because I've heard Prince music before that album, but then when he came out with that album, Purple Rain, I was like, oh, let me check out this one. He also did Diamonds and Pearls. I really like that one. There was an album he did called the Simple Album. That's one of my favorite Prince albums, and the Batman soundtrack is one of my favorite Prince albums. So all the music that you heard in there when somebody was singing, that was Prince, and he was throwing it down. So Danny Elfman, he's also done Men in Black, Darkman. Have you seen Darkman?
I don't think so.
Oh, man, that's a beautiful movie. Dick Tracy, have you seen that one?
I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Oh, that's a nice movie. Spider-Man and Hulk. Prince. Some of my favorite songs from this soundtrack is Party Man. Scandalous. It's supposed to be Vicky Waiting. That's a typo. And Lemon Crush and Bat Dance. And you need to look up the video for Bat Dance. We should have watched that before we started.
No.
We need to watch the
No.
video for Bat Dance. That joint is
No.
unbelievable.
No.
It's got Prince. Half of his face is Bat Dance.
No.
The other half of his face is the Joker.
No.
That dude was off his rocker when he made this video. He loved him some Batman. And I hear he makes some mean pancakes, according to Dave Chappelle. Let's see. So it was the executive producers were Benjamin Melniker and Michael E. Uslan.
All right, so we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back to talk about our favorite parts of the movie, some movie trivia, and find out what some of the critics thought.
This is Zoe, and I want to welcome our new sponsor, Joker Products. Joker Products has an expansive line of health and beauty aids for everyday life. This line includes everything from shampoos, conditioners, petroleum jelly, and various color dyes for your hair. It includes lotions and oils and lip balms for your skin. You can try Joker Products' incredible makeup line with innovative foundations, eyeshadows, lipsticks, and lip balms. If you want to give a great first impression, then try their perfumes and cologne collection. The point is, they have everything you need for a brand new you, guaranteed to put a smile on your face. Joker Products are available everywhere. If you're not sure where to find them, well, don't worry. Chances are, you've bought them already.
The song It Takes One by Jess Smith, provided by Zapsplat.com.
And we're back to the Backlook Cinema Podcast. Thank you for joining us. And let me ask you, Zach, how you feel about this movie?
It was good.
Yeah, of course it was good. This is the first one. This is the first one. This is why we're living in an era where we can have Avengers Endgame and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Those movies were great. And it all started with Tim Burton's Batman. So, let me ask you, what were your favorite parts of the movie?
Mainly all the Jokers.
Yes, absolutely.
Mainly the Jokers.
So, you had Jack Nicholson as Joker throwing it down with all the jokes. Some of them were deadly jokes. So, which of the Joker scene comes to mind?
The very first one when he socks one of the gangsters to death. That was a good one.
Oh, he shot.
Yes, socks.
We
has the
that shocker thing, right? Or when he shook the dude's hand.
Yeah, just completely melted to bone.
He said, if you don't want to join me, we can just shake hands and go our separate ways. Let bygones be bygones. Like, shake hands? Yeah, just shake hands. That used to be a gag that people did. People had like things in there that you could put in your palm that provided a minor electric shock. So you shake somebody's hand. You could order it like through the comic books. There was a bunch of stupid jokes like that.
Yeah, but he wasn't just gonna do it mildly.
Right. He had his joint turned up to 11. So, which are the other gags that you liked about the Joker?
Another one when he goes into the art gallery dinner place. It's a weird thing. That is weird. That's an art gallery and a dinner place at the same time.
Well, it's a museum, so lots of museums have like a restaurant. They're normally separated from the rest of the gallery. Yeah, but like if you go to Smithsonian, most of the Smithsonian have a restaurant inside because they're trying to make that money.
Oh, still, right. That was a good one because he basically gives Vicky Vale a gas mask to put on.
Right.
And then after everyone else is dead, he just comes bursting in playing music.
Right.
Him and his minions is painted on everything.
Right. Except for one.
Yeah, except for one. He's like, no.
It depicted horror. And he said, no, Bob, I kind of like this one. So what was ingenious about this is that he invited Vicky Vale to the restaurant impersonating Bruce Wayne. So she's waiting for him. Nobody shows up. So he's making her think that Bruce Wayne has stood her up. So he's doing two things at one time. He's souring her opinion of Bruce Wayne. Then he's supposed to come in and supposed to be sweeping her off her feet. Of course, he needs to murder everybody there in order to do that.
Only
It was
that, he
totally unnecessary. He could have just walked in, not even with his goons, maybe a bodyguard, just walked in by himself, sat down, talked to Vicky Vale, but no, he had to do it theatrically. He had to murder everybody there.
It's a Joker. Of course he's gonna do that.
and then he sat down and talked to her. Didn't like any of her fashion shoots. He was like, crap, your fashion models. But then as soon as he got to her war photos, it's like, I don't know if it's art, but I like it. so name some more parts.
When he goes to Vicky Vale's house, I'm not gonna question how he knew, because I'm pretty sure he used Bob the stalker to figure out where he lived.
How he probably did it.
And I was like, yeah, just coming, bursting in, unannounced.
Right.
Still playing music.
Right.
And then even though Bruce Wayne is there, he's like, oh, didn't know you had guests.
Right. He's like, man, it's like he already thinking that they go together.
Even though I'm trying to spend time with you, we always have people busting in. This is the second time.
Right. Yeah, so that was a trip. And then all the weird noises that he would make, just apropos of nothing, he would just start hooting.
That would be something he would do anyway.
Right. What else you got?
Let's see. When he's on, when he was selling products.
Right.
And then like he somehow just automatically took over the news station.
Right.
Just hijacked it.
Right.
And he did it twice.
Right. He's constantly hijacking the airwaves. And how the commercial that he put out. And at the end of the commercial.
He was using Chemical X. But with this brand, look at that smell. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he was using brand X.
Yeah, talking about brand X.
But with this one, he's a happy customer. And I know what you're thinking. Where can I get all of these fine products? Well, chances are, folks, you've already bought them. So that was brilliant. What else you got?
It was the second time he hijacked. He was like, no, we're going to continue on with the 200th birthday.
Right.
And then, as soon as they're trying to cut him off, he just swipes to the left.
Right.
Completely cutting them off. I'm like, well, wow.
Right. And it's funny, right? Because he pretends that his white skin color is his makeup.
Yeah.
Right. So he covers himself with flesh-colored tones when he wants to be relatable. So when he first goes on his so-called date with Vicky Vale in the museum, or when he goes for the first time to when he was on that hijack broadcast like he was talking about, and when he said at the end, "I've taken off my makeup. Are you going to take off yours?" He didn't take off his makeup. He put some makeup on.
Put makeup on. Your makeup is still on.
Right. He's trying to be relatable to regular people. What else you got?
He's giving out money, and again, he's just having a fun time giving out money.
Right.
And then he is talking, but people are not even paying attention to what he said.
Right.
Because they're too busy trying to get the money that he's been throwing out.
Right. So yeah, he is. They are too. And then I forgot, he said something, and then that's when he released the gas.
Yeah, talking about calling them small or whatever. I'm like, y'all not even listening to him?
Right.
He is speaking in a microphone, and I know you can hear him.
Right. It's funny, right? Because all this is after he murders his rival gangsters in front of everybody and gets away with it, and it's still going, and it's like nobody does anything when he goes down the street during the like police don't set a trap for him and they just let him do whatever, So were there any Batman parts that you caught?
I mean, I guess there was when he first saves Vicky Vale from the Joker, and then his awkwardly trying to explain how he's Batman, but he somehow just can't say it.
Right.
And yet he can just mouth it out without her being there saying, I'm Batman.
Right. Right. He wants to tell her, but he can't quite do it. Yeah, he's too guarded. So
he makes it so awkward trying to explain it.
Right. He can't. He starts telling these weird stories that don't have nothing to do with him.
Or just trying to make a connection You know, talking about, you know how you have a split personality, whatever, you know. So I'm like, no, it's don't.
Right.
That's not how you're doing
It was
it.
like,
Right.
you know how normal people, they wake up in the morning and they get a cup of coffee and they get breakfast. It's like he's so off. He can't quite. He's beating way around the bush. So what other part you got?
When the Joker tries to fight Batman, but when he punches him, he just ends up hurting himself.
Right. He just hits their body armor. So what'd you think of the Batmobile?
It was actually good, even though it didn't look like a two-seater. I was like, that don't even look like it's meant for two people.
Right.
But I was like, oh, okay, I guess it is.
Right.
Kind of.
It's based off an actual car. So basically they took an actual car. I can't remember which car they took, but they took an actual car and they heavily modified it, obviously, and added a bunch of parts on it. So it's an actual vehicle. It can actually drive. I think the top speed is like 50 miles per hour or something like that. Can't really go that fast, but the fact that they went through all the trouble of building a unique car, what the Batman on the 1966 TV show looked like. So that's not actually a customized job. That's an actual car. It's actually a concept car that I think Ford was going to put out, but then they decided not to. But that's an actual car that somebody could buy back in 1966 because somebody thought the two bubble windows were a great idea. The only thing they modified it was they cut out pieces of the bubble because that bubble is supposed to be continuous going across the whole vehicle. But in the show, they cut off like the top of it and the sides of it. So it's got, I don't know, it's got that huge space in it. And they copied that design on the early Batman and Robin cartoons. So this one was like an almost totally custom job. It was like they totally reimagined what the Batmobile could look like. And that is a design that they kind of, that influenced the ones on the Batman animated series. A lot of Batman animated series was taken directly from the movie. The music, the mood, you notice that even in the movie, the time was rather ambiguous because sometimes they had old-fashioned camera, but then Bob shows up with a little bit more modern camera. All the TV sets seemed like they were way older. The cars also seemed like way older than what would it be in 1986. I mean, 1989. So, and animated series, they go even further back. So sometimes it looks like it's in the 1960s, and sometimes it even looks like it goes further back. So, yeah, that stuff. So, you good? You got it?
Yeah, that's it.
You sure?
Yeah, CGI was good. Makeup was good.
The CGI was kind of funny because the very first CGI you notice is in the very beginning you see Batman's shadow. You don't see Batman himself, you see his shadow. That looks straight up like animation, like somebody drew that on the film. And then like some of the lights and stuff like that, they all look like it's cartoon. But the funny thing about that is you can't see that in theaters, or at least I couldn't see it. But when you look at it on HD TV, it's like, oh, I can see everything now. So another thing I like about the movie is that, and it kind of walked away from other depictions of Batman, but this is him actually being a detective because he figured out how the Joker was poisoning products. So that was one of the things that Tim Burton had paid attention to that a lot of other directors hadn't really paid attention to, is that he's a detective. He's called the Dark Knight Detective. He's called the world's greatest detective, and he really put some of that detective aspect into this characterization of Batman. So like when he goes, the Joker isn't tainting one product, he's tainting hundreds of products. And you have to put them in the correct combination in order for it to kill you. And you see the reporters on the news and whatnot. It's weird because the reporters on the news look worse than regular people. Because it's like they're obviously not using any beauty products. So their hair is all over the place. And they get pimples. I mean, the thing is, you can still comb your hair. You can still do that. You don't.
They didn't want to take no chances.
You don't have to. You can. It's not a chemical, so you can still comb your hair. You can't use like hairspray, but you can still comb your hair. You can't really use soap, but you're not going to be automatically like pimples and whatnot when you stop using soap. And then the other people, like the reporter, the photographer, Vicky Vale, they all look normal. They didn't look like they weren't using beauty products. So. That kind of struck me as weird.
Another thing was Batman shoot itself because he can't really turn his head.
You noticed that, huh?
Oh yeah, I've been noticed. I was like, he can't turn his head. He has to turn his whole body.
He has to turn his
just
whole
to
body.
look around.
Right. That was
That's just so awkward.
That was one of the funniest things about this movie is that he couldn't turn his head. This movie's get clowned a lot about his movements, and in a way, it made his fights really unique because he can be like, if you watch any of those old kung fu movies, you get some characters that kind of move like that in some parts of their fight, where they're just moving their body left or right, avoiding kicks and punches before they counterattack. There was one movie that I watched. It's a real old movie where this dude was like avoiding all of these all of the attacks by just moving his upper body. And when he attacked, he only used his legs. And his opponent was like, "Are your arms broken? Oh, I can assure you, I'll still use my fist." You know, that kind of thing.
Right.
But what you call it? The Batmobile sequence was cool. That where you realize that it's either a drone, what we would call a drone today, or an AI controlled car. Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't remote control. Because you didn't actually see Batman holding or controlling the Batmobile when he commanded it. He told it to go here or there or whatever. So and then some of the illogical points was don't see the point of blowing up Axis Chemical. I guess he blew it up because that's where the poison was coming from.
That,
So-
possibly Dr. Joker was still
Maybe
there.
the Joker was there. And this Batman, he was going to kill the Joker.
Yeah, he didn't care. That's why he blew it up. Like, this
Right.
man just killed people.
Right. Yeah, he did. Everybody that was in that plant died. I don't think anybody made it out alive. Maybe one or two people. But yeah, maybe he didn't know there was anybody in there.
No, he knew.
But there's no way.
Remember,
Right. There's
he
no way.
drove in and they shot at him.
Right.
He straight up knew.
There's no way that he couldn't have known that there might be some people in there, but he straight up blew up the plant, killing the gangsters inside. There was also when I'm of the camp that Batman don't straight up kill people with guns. Normally it's like he killed people, like in the comics, it's kind of an accident, like dropping somebody or whatever, or maybe he imprisons somebody and just leaves them there, like he did with KG Beast in one issue, and that was back in the 80s. This is after Batman was not supposed to kill anybody. So he comes down on his plane, he zeroes in on the Joker, shoots his machine guns and his missiles, and
Somehow missed the
everything
Joker.
misses. That was a problem. That was like Superman going around the world and turning time back. I'm like, the Joker is supposed to be dead, and he is not. So that was a problem for me. And then the Joker pulls out a really long gun and shoots him down.
Which I'm like, how can that long pistol have enough firepower to take down that?
Maybe it has the right caliber,
No.
or he shot it in the right spot.
No, because remember, he did not know about the bat plane.
That's true. He didn't know about it, but
So there's no way he could be
that's
prepared.
not to say that he's not. There's not to say that he doesn't have a gun that's strong enough to take down a plane. Because you got to remember that a plane is not made of heavy materials because it has to fly, and this plane in particular has to be made of a special light material because it barely has wings. So it could be, maybe he didn't expect to take down a plane. He just shot at it because that's what people do when they see a plane. They start shooting at it. And sometimes the plane comes down, sometimes it doesn't. So I think the Joker just got lucky. But you hear a lot of people complain about, Batman's, especially with the Snyder movies. You have Batman almost seem like Batman is laying waste to people. The Batman in the Snyder movies is just doing the thing that Batman in Tim Burton movies wishes that he could do. He was trying to kill the Joker. Basically twice. Because he thought maybe he could get him in a chemical plant, and then the Joker taunted him. It's like, nah, you missed me. And then he tried to kill him in a plane and somehow missed every single shot without the Joker moving, just holding out his hands. And I've seen the storyboard. The storyboard called for the Joker to kind of dance around and dodge. And that would make sense if the Joker was dodging his fire. But the Joker wasn't dodging his fire. He just stood there with his arms stretched out, and Batman still missed. That was buggy. It's like a buggy video game. So basically, besides that minor thing, and then the other thing they did in the movie is that they reveal, like in the Joker movie that came out, people were saying, "Oh, I don't want to see the Joker movie because you shouldn't see the Joker's real identity," and they was crying over that.
When they have showed it so many times in the comics before.
Not really. They kind of hinted at it. They never really outright blatantly did it. And whenever they did do it, they would retcon it, so it's not really the Joker. It was a lot of retconning in DC Comics because there were creators was like, okay, this is what the Joker is, and then another creator would come along and say, well, no, that was a fake out. That's not really him. So they never confirmed who the Joker really was. But
And most times it's basically he's a comedian, a failed comedian, doesn't work out, then he turns to a crime, calling himself the Red Hood. It fails, and falls into Ace's chemical plants because Batman tried to save him, didn't work out.
right. So that was what you call it. But I don't even know if that origin is retcon or not, and I don't even know what it is now because they've gone through the entire DC line has gone through like several retcons. So first it was Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then there was the New 52, and then I don't even know what the last one was. I don't even know what it's called because I haven't really been keeping up. But they've retconned it several times. So I don't even know what the origin of the Joker is right now, or if they revealed it. I remember
As long as they keep him being a comedian that failed and then failed at chemical plants, then that's all we need to know. We don't really need to know his
right, we
real
don't really need
name.
to know his name. But I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was in the New 52 or this new version of the DC retcon, but there was an issue where Batman had got in a Mobius chair. The Mobius chair is something like a mother box from that you saw in Justice League.
Yeah.
The Mobius chair is usually sat upon by this other dude called Metron. Somehow, Batman had gained the power to sit in the chair, and he had the power of all knowledge, and he found out who the Joker really was, and he was like, "Who? What? That's him?" But I didn't really find out what the what became of that incident. So, anyways, so eventually Batman finds out. But in this movie, they actually reveal it was about the origin of Batman and the Joker. Really, more about the origin of the Joker since the Batman's origin was in a flashback, and they tied it to the Joker. But nobody had a problem with the Joker having an origin in this movie. But also there was no internet, so I don't know how people truly felt about it. But it's like even though I've seen in the magazines where people were mad about what's his name about the casting of Batman, but not really much chatter on the origins of the Joker. So people didn't really have a problem with revealing or them having an origin story for the Joker. Unlike the Joker movie that we just had, where they told the whole origin of their version of the Joker, and people are crying. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. At least he was a comedian. he had a comedian with a weird twisted connection to the Wayne family. So I didn't have, but my only thing was that it didn't have to be this. Well, this movie could have been any movie. Like it didn't have to be about the Joker. It could have been about anybody. So, anyways, any more thoughts on Tim Burton's Batman?
Nope.
All right, let us move on to the trivia. So, Robin Williams. Do you remember Robin Williams?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Robin Williams was offered the role of the Joker when Jack Nicholson hesitated. He had even accepted the role when producers approached Nicholson again and told him Williams would be taking the part if he didn't. Nicholson took the role and Williams was released. Williams resented being used as bait and not only refused to play the Riddler in Batman Forever, 1995, but also refused to be involved in any Warner Brothers productions until the studio apologized.
Which I can imagine they probably didn't.
I think they did that. I think he eventually appeared in a Warner Brothers movie.
Jack Nicholson said of his roles, "The thing I like about the Joker is that his sense of humor is completely tasteless." He later said that the Joker was one of his favorite roles he played.
Jack Nicholson received a percentage of the gross on the film, and due to its massive box office take, he took home around $60 million As of 2003, it is still the single movie record for an actor's salary.
Jack Nicholson had a strict schedule uh,
Stipulated.
stipulated into his contract that his casting call was to be later than most actors and actresses on the set. Jack was known for having late evenings up to 3 a.m. before he would get home, as he dined out every night or attended small parties. Michael Keaton would arrive early in the morning, and Jack would come in around 10 a.m. at the earliest and greet Michael. Then sit on his chair. He would then tilt his head back and fall asleep immediately as the makeup artist worked on his prosthetics.
And the funny thing about that is that usually, if you have to wear prosthetics, they want you there early so that they can start shooting early. But Jack Nicholson was special. So Michael Keaton was unable to hear while wearing the batsuit. He said that his claustrophobia helped him get into proper mood to play Batman. It made me go inward, and that's how I wanted the character to be anyway, to be withdrawn, he said.
Michael Keaton, who called himself a logic freak, was concerned that Batman's secret identity would, in reality, be fairly easy to uncover, and discussed ideas with Tim Burton to better disguise the character, including the use of contact lens. Ultimately, Keaton decided to perform Batman's voice at a lower register than he was portraying Bruce Wayne. This technique became a staple of future portrayals of Batman in films, televisions, and video games, especially those of Kevin Conroy and Kristen Bale. I mean, yeah, of course you're going to want to disguise your voice. If you use your regular voice, it's going to be detectable. Right. Unlike Superman, he just don't care.
Well, I think with Superman, it's the thing with the glasses. That was always the conceit. You have to remember, Superman was created in the 1940s.
The glasses and the hair.
Yeah, the glasses and the hair. Well, Superman was created in the 1940s, and wearing glasses back then, that was like a faux pas. It was like, you wore glasses back then, you were like totally unattractive, and it was almost a stigma with wearing glasses. People didn't even really want to look at you. And so when you take off glasses, like they feel like the people genuinely didn't recognize you when you took off your glasses. The other thing about Superman is that Superman does not wear a mask. So you don't assume that he's somebody else. It's like, you only assume somebody is somebody else if he puts on a mask. So that's why they never assume Clark Kent was Superman. And the thing about the glasses hiding your identity is real. It's confirmed by Weird Al Yankovic for years. Early, you know who that is, right?
Yeah, of course I know who he is.
So for years he wore glasses and he had long curly hair, and that's how he performed. That's how people knew him. Later on, he got the eyeball surgery. What do you call that? Laser surgery, LASIK. He got he was one of the earliest people to get LASIK, and he was, this is before you had millions of people having had LASIK surgery, and he didn't really want to go through it, but there was a surgeon who said, because he thought it'd be good for his business if it was a news program. He thought it'd be good for ratings if they could film or do a documentary of Weird Al doing a LASIK surgery. So they paid for him to get surgery, and they paid for a good doctor. It was like $2,000 per eye. It's like, well, if they're going to pay for it, might as well go ahead and participate. So after he got it, didn't wear glasses again. And then the next time he was in a TV show, he looked so different than what people used to seeing that the producers were like, well, you got to put your glasses on. It's like, but I had LASIK surgery. Like, you got to put some glasses on because people are not going to know who you are. So they actually, I think they even gave him a wig too. They gave him a wig. They gave him glasses so he would look like he used to look like, so people would recognize him. So the thing about the glasses, it's real. It's real. So you could totally get away with it. And unless it's your close family, then that'd be different. But if it's like just people that only casually know you, it could totally work. So it's my turn.
Yeah.
Don Johnson, Dale Midkiff, and William Peterson was considered for the role of Harvey Dent. Billy D. Williams took the role with the expectation that he would be brought back to play Two-Face, and reportedly had a contract clause added reserving the role for him. During casting of Batman Forever in 1995, Warner Brothers decided they preferred Tommy Lee Jones and bought out Williams' contract. Williams voiced the character in the Lego Batman movie of 2017.
This is horrible to do.
Yes, it is horrible. It's like, oh man, we would really prefer that white guy over there.
Michael Keaton came up with the famous "I'm Batman" line in the script. It was "I am the Knight."
So now
he was going to say "I am the Knight," but he was like, "Nah, I'm Batman." That sounds way better. That sounds imitating.
I don't know if I wrote this down, but they're not sure why he changed the line because it came up on the fly. So it could have been that he had forgotten a line, right?
He's
so
like,
he forgot what he was supposed to say.
Batman.
So he just continued. The other thing would be that he probably discussed it with somebody before he did it. But a lot of people are like, he probably just forgot. and that Batman reverberates throughout the entire Batman universe after he said it, because now it's like a parody. There's I forgot the name of the show. How It Should Have Ended as a YouTube show. Yeah. So on there, the cartoon Batman, he's like, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. He says it all the time. And then he says it on the animated series. He says it on various animated versions.
He will either say, I am Batman or I am the Knight. Either way, he wants to be imitated.
Right. So in order to combat negative rumors about the production, the theatrical trailer was hastily assembled to be distributed to theaters. To test its effectiveness, Warner Brothers executive showed it at a theater in Westwood, California, to an unsuspecting audience. The 90-second trailer received a standing ovation. Later, it would become a popular bootleg at comic book conventions. They bootleg a trailer. That's how bad it was.
Domestically, it was the highest grossing movie of 1989. Worldwide, it came second to Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade that came out in 1989.
Yeah, that's a powerful movies out that time. he had Batman, Indiana Jones in the same year. That was a good year. Shortly after completing the film, Tim Burton said, I like parts of it, but the whole movie is mainly boring to me. It's okay, but it was more of a cultural phenomenon than a great movie. He also wasn't enthusiastic about how Prince's songs were used in the film. As time has distanced him from the stressful production of the film, he has become more favorable of it. According to Michael Keaton, his background in comedy proved useful in playing Batman because it gave him instincts on how to shape the scenes and build dimensions into his character. For example, in the scene when Vicky and Bruce are having dinner, Keaton suggested that they be seated far apart at a very long table, and his line of dialogue, I don't think I've been in this room before. In another example, he contributed to the idea of Bruce hanging like a bat after sleeping with Vicky. It makes all of the other stuff even weirder and darker because you're thinking, this guy's off, Keaton said. It's just interesting because it kind of shows you how the performers actually helped shape the movie. Like if they had gotten another actor, none of that stuff would have happened. It would have been almost completely different.
Jack Nicholson loved his performance in the film so much that at one point he was watching the film 1 week at his house. Once a week at his house. It's like
every week he would watch his own self in Batman because he loved his performance so much. There's some actors that don't even like looking at themselves on film, but not Jack Nicholson. If it's a good enough performance, he'll indulge himself. When discussing the central theme of Batman, director Tim Burton explained the whole film and mythology of the character is a complete duel of the freaks. It's a fight between two disturbed people, adding that the Joker is such a great character because there's a complete freedom to him. Any character who operated on the outside of society and is deemed a freak and an outcast then has the freedom to do what they want. They are the darkest sides of freedom. Insanity is in some scary way the most freedom you can have because you're not bound by the laws of society.
In the film, the Joker has to mask his chalk white face by painting himself flesh colored. In the script, it was specified that the Joker would have to take the flesh color makeup off to reveal the white skin underneath, meaning that the makeup effects team had to find a way to take one layer of makeup off and leave another intact. Makeup designer Nick Dunham came up with the solution. They painted Jack Nicholson with the white Pax paint that they always used, and then put a thin layer of food grade silicone
Silicon.
silicone oil, which nothing sticks to on top of it. Then they took flesh colored grease paint and painstakingly painted to where it was literally sitting on top of the oil. Then they airbrushed and faded in to make it look natural. After soaking Joker's handkerchief in
Isopropyl.
isopropyl alcohol, Nicholson was able to wipe out his face, and it would strip off the grease paint, but leave the white Pax paint intact.
That was fabulous. You had to be a genius to figure that out. Like, how are we going to do this scene? And one of the makeup artists was like, I got it. Don't worry. This is what I do. The Batmobile was built on the chassis of a Chevy Impala and incorporated the engine of an Impala and the tail lights of a Ferrari and the fuel caps of a London bus and the jet engine parts from a Harrier jump jet. The sliding cockpit was also inspired by that of a Harrier with the slim windows of a gun emplacement. Art director Terry Ackland Snow added the headlights of a Honda Civic to the vehicle after noticing them on his wife's car.
First Batman adaptation to depict the Joker's origin story. It remained the only film to do this until Batman: The Killing Joke in 2016.
Michelle Pfeiffer, who was dating Michael Keaton at the time, was asked to audition for Vicky Vale, but Keaton was against it, saying it would be awkward. Pfeiffer would later be cast as Selina Kyle, Catwoman, in Batman Returns in 1992 alongside Keaton.
Jack Nicholson has said that what made the Joker one of his favorite roles of his own was that in allowing him to do so much creative freedom. In Nicholson's view, while most characters' roles have specific traits to which an actor has to stay true, the Joker's specific traits is that he's unpredictable, meaning that he was able to do whatever he wanted and still stay true to the character.
Michael Keaton's casting as Batman, Bruce Wayne, caused a controversy amongst comic book fans with 50,000 protest letters sent to Warner Brothers offices. Bob Kane, Sam Hamm, and Michael E. Uslan also heavily questioned the casting.
A scene was cut from the parade sequence but made it into the comic book version of the script, where the crowd discovered that all the money the Joker was handing out was counterfeit. In a following up to the Joker's earlier line that he wanted my face on the $1 bill, as the dollar bills that were thrown to the crowd had the Joker's picture in place of George Washington.
Yeah, I had the comic book version at one time, and the crowd looked at it and was like, "Hey, this is all fake." Well, some people noticed, not everybody in the crowd noticed it, and he got his face on a $1 bill. The name of the Joker's alter ego, Jack Napier, was created by the filmmakers. In the comics, the Joker was never given a real name, and his anonymous status is often crucial to the plot. And whatever real name he has is yet to be definitively revealed. The name Jack Napier is intended to be a play on the word jackanapes, a medieval English term for a foolish fellow who resembles an ape, as well as a reference to Alan Napier, who played Alfred in the television show Batman 1966.
In creating the Batsuit, Tim Burton opted not to use tights, spandex, or underpants as seen in the comic books, feeling it was not intimidating.
Upon seeing the initial life-size polystyrene model of the Batmobile, Tim Burton turned to Terry Ackland Snow and said, "Great, where's the door?" The design team suddenly realized that the design lacked any doors, and inspired by the cockpit of a Harrier jump jet, Terry came up with the idea of a sliding cockpit.
The only live-action Batman film to feature only one supervillain from the comics.
Right, because you think about all the other Batman films, they have at least one other villain. Even the second Batman movie, it had the Penguin and Catwoman. And then after that one, they had I think it was like Mr. Freeze and
Mr.
Poison Ivy.
Freeze, Poison Ivy, Bane, the Riddler.
Right. And then what was that? I can't remember. I kind of get them jumbled up. So I think trying to think the one with the one with forgot his name. The who the other see I didn't forgot it. We mentioned it already.
Come on, Christopher Bale, I believe.
Not Christian Bale. But yeah, his was Ra's al Ghul and the scary dude,
Scarecrow.
Now I'm trying to think of the sequels to the Tim Burton ones. So
Batman and Robin's no.
yeah, but what's his name? I'm trying to think. Who's the actor's name? Well, anyway, let's talk about was Batman and Robin. What came on after that? Shoot, I don't even know.
I was gonna say Batman Forever. That was the
yeah,
sequel.
Batman Forever.
Yeah,
okay, so which one was first? Batman Robin, or Batman Forever. I guess Batman Forever was first, and then Batman and Robin. I can't remember. But anyway, I get all the villains mixed up because I don't remember who was the villain on one of them. Ah, well, let's move on. I'm getting stuck. The surgical tools used to reconstruct the Joker's face are the same props as the dental tools used by Steve Martin on Bill Murray's in Little Shop of Horrors, 1986. Coincidentally, Jack Nicholson appeared in the original The Little Shop of Horrors in the 1960s. That's kind of cool. So, have you seen The Little Shop of Horrors?
No.
That's a cool musical. It's like, besides Hamilton, one of my favorite musicals. I think it goes Hamilton and then Little Shop of Horrors. Because I'm a mean green mother from outer space and I'm bad. Anyway, let's go on. The award of note that it had in 1999, go.
In 1999, Academy Award Best Art / Set Direction, Arden First and Peter Young.
So, what did the critics think? Critics gave it 71%, and the audience gave it 84% on a Rotten Tomatoes because the audience really liked this movie. IMDb reviews gave it 7.5 out of 10.
So Ron Pennington from Hollywood Reporter. Batman is a stunning achievement, especially through the incredible and unique visualizations of director Tim Burton.
Yeah, that is exactly true. You can see Tim Burton's style, just dark and brooding, like all of his movies. Alice in Wonderland comes close to being a little bit colorful, but not really. So in this movie, it was almost black and white. It's kind of like what I'm trying to think. Zack Snyder was trying to do with all of his movies, but it doesn't really work in all of the superhero movies. It only works with Batman and any other dark and brooding character. Otherwise, you might want to brighten it up a little bit. But yeah, Tim Burton was almost going to direct his version of Superman. He was going to equally have a somewhat dark and weird tone to it. But he was going to be him, and it was going to star Nicolas Cage, but they never got around to doing that. Superman also had a plastic suit on, similar to Batman. And his looked even more plastic than the Batman suit. But yeah, the black and white aesthetic is what is barely any color in this movie. And it basically just showed his style, the style he was going for. Sheila Benson, Los Angeles Times, she wrote, "Is it interesting? Fitfully. Is it fun? Not much. Gotham City fans? Not much." So she didn't like
it. Gary Thompson from Philadelphia Daily News. Nicholson has never been more commanding, not only because he does an outstanding job, but also because so much of the movie's creative energy is devoted to making the Joker one of the most startling movie characters in recent memory.
Yeah, he's one of the best villains in cinema. He's just fun to look at. He's fun to watch. He's a great character. So yeah, I concur with that analysis. Felix Vasquez Jr., Cinema Craze. That's where he's from. He's from Cinema Craze. Okay. He wrote, "While Keaton and Nicholson are dazzling in their roles, Burton never quite finds much to explore with Bruce Wayne, and that's wasted potential." I don't know.
To be honest, Bruce Wayne is not that. Like, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, he doesn't really use himself that much.
Right.
In the comics, when you look at it, he doesn't really use himself. He mostly just uses Batman persona. This straight up mostly Batman. He puts the Bruce Wayne persona way behind and only use it to when he needs to use it.
Right.
And in this, he doesn't really need to use it. There's no point of him using Bruce Wayne at all, other than to hide his facade of being Batman.
Right. He's most Bruce Wayne when he's with Vicky Vale alone, a little bit when he was at the party, or when he's alone with Alfred. So when he's alone, you can kind of see him being himself as Bruce Wayne. But he's not a particularly deep character to begin with.
And again, like in the daytime, he will sometimes be Bruce Wayne, but it's mostly nighttime for him.
Right.
Whenever it comes to Batman comics, movies, it's just nighttime.
Right.
It's the main point.
Right.
Everything else, like Bruce Wayne, is in the day, not that important. If we use him at night, it's because he's at a party, but then we'll have him disappear and become Batman. That is it.
Right.
Nothing else for him.
Right. It's like when you watch a Godzilla movie, I'm just there for the fights. I'm not trying to see what the humans are doing.
I mean, it also goes the same for Superman. Again, you have Clark Kent, but again, he puts that down because he's mostly Superman.
Right.
Regardless of what day it is, mostly Superman. And will only be Clark Kent when he has like, okay, I gotta go to the job. Oh wait, something's happening. Okay, looks like I'm not going to work. I'm Superman now.
Right. So there you have it. And I think there was supposed to be a flip side. Like there was an analysis where they felt like Batman is Bruce Wayne's actual personality. It was like who he is as a person. And where Superman is concerned, Clark Kent is who he is as a person, and Superman is the disguise. At least that's the way it is more in the modern telling of Superman. In the earlier tellings of Superman, it was exactly like Batman, where Superman was the disguise, or where Clark Kent was the disguise and Superman was the real person. But in the current depictions of Superman is the disguise and Clark Kent is who he actually is. But that's a discussion for another day. Do you have any more to add?
Nope.
All right, so this has gone on a little long, but we got through it. We had a lot of trivia, a lot of interesting facts that we gave out about the movie, and you liked it, right?
Yep.
Because you are.
I'm not saying that.
You're my clone. I'll say it. You're my clone.
You can say it.
Of course you liked it.
Trivia was vote for 27.
So the next episode that we're gonna do is 7. When I say 7. That they replaced the V with the number 7. It's pronounced 7.
It's weird and dumb.
It's one of the most awesome movies that came out. And we have got to watch it because we're going to find out what's in the box. Once again, if you like this show, then please rate us, write a review, and share it with someone. You can use the hashtag BacklookCinema on Twitter or your favorite social media sites. Let people know about where we're at. And believe me, it matters. Be safe, hug your loved ones, and be outstanding.